John McCain spelling it out. A, B, C, D. Got to hear this sound. You got to hear this sound from John McCain, because whether you like John McCain or not, let me tell you, he was spot on this one. He was spot on. John McCain warned in 2014 that Antony Blinken, now our Secretary of State, didn't know how to manage the Middle East at all, had been, in fact, wrong on pretty much every foreign policy decision in his career, which, by the way, he's been Biden's advisor through Biden's career on foreign policy. Here's John McCain. I want you to watch this and think about what happened in Afghanistan. Think about what happened with Hamas and Israel and the horror there. And then and think about what McCain is saying. He's warning against everything that we're witnessing right now at this point in time. John McCain, now deceased, of course, the late John McCain, speaking on the floor 2014 when Antony Blinken's name came up to be Deputy Secretary of State.
And Mr. Blinken's role in conceptualizing and furthering it. U.S. foreign policy is in a shambles. It's at best a strategic and at worst anti-strategic. I'll move on to Afghanistan. Mr. Blinken said, quote, "We've been very clear. We've been consistent. The war will be concluded by the end of 2014. We have a timetable, and that timetable will not change." This is why I'm so worried about him being in the position that he's in. Because if they stick to that timetable, I am telling my colleagues that we will see the replay of Iraq all over again. We must leave a stabilizing force behind of a few thousand troops, or we will see again what we saw in Iraq. So let's move on to Syria.
Here we are. Israel's been attacked. Our ally in the Middle East, who we seem to be conflicted with right now. I mean, you got the extreme part of the party on the left that doesn't want Joe Biden and the administration sticking up for Israel. So you got that going on. And for the last however many months now, the Biden administration has tried to avoid the conflict we're currently in. But you know what? Sometimes when you keep trying to avoid these things, it's like Neville Chamberlain all over again. You know what? It comes back to haunt you, because you have to make a decision. You're either in or out, right? And you've also got to make a decision. We're going to be strong or we're not going to be strong. And I think the signaling of getting out of Afghanistan way back when was the signal, hey, we're not strong. We didn't leave anybody behind. We did not leave anybody behind to mind the store. So chaos erupted. There's no one in charge. It's going wild. And now our allies, that would be Israel, they've paid the price. Our American service men and women, they're paying the price. And our country is paying the price. This is just so wrong on every level. McCain said we'd be back in an Iraq-like situation. I'll tell you, it kind of feels that way, doesn't it? I mean, does it not feel that way?
I would argue that we've not seen a situation as dangerous as the one we're facing now across the region since at least 1973.
Antony Blinken, our Secretary of State, talking about the situation in the Middle East. We have gotten word that we have, in fact, initiated and are conducting some retaliatory strikes in Iraq and in Syria. There's a lot of confusion initially with Associated Press and Fox News and ABC News all reporting that the strikes had been launched, and then they withdrew. Fox and ABC withdrew that information, saying no, that in fact that was not correct. There was some speculation that the strikes were indeed happening, but they were not from us, etc. Ultimately, we did learn that in fact the United States had retaliated. This is the biggest escalation thus far in this crisis in the Middle East that really started erupting on October 7th when Hamas attacked Israel. It is expected and believed and reported by the Wall Street Journal that Hamas got the green light for that attack from Iran. Iran, which of course we know funds Hamas. The Biden administration seemingly wanted to avoid, right? For the last 4 months, just avoid. They've even, it was reported yesterday by Axios that, and this was the big scoop, right? That the administration was looking at even offering a statehood for Palestine. They were trying to come up with some solution, which really, I think, strikes a lot of people as being somewhat Chamberlain-esque, right? Chamberlain, who allowed Germany to continue its aggression and was never willing to confront what needed to be confronted. And so there's been some mixed feelings. I would say this, like, we shouldn't be in this place to begin with, right? You should be doing everything you can every step of the way to make sure that it doesn't escalate like this. Why the heck did we get out of Afghanistan in such a rash and aggressive and sort of hapless way? I mean, I think back to those days, and that was none other than Antony Blinken that was insisting we needed to get out. He wanted that 20-year headline. Biden wanted that 20-year headline. We are out of Afghanistan. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's a way to do it, and there's a way to do it. And that was not the way to do it. By doing it that way, effectively, and it's incredible when you consider what's happening right now, that somebody knew this was going down. Like somebody back in 2014, that somebody would be the late Senator John McCain. Regardless of what you think of John McCain, ladies and gentlemen, he got this right. I'm telling you, he got it spot on. And he warned us 10 years ago, 2014, that our Secretary of State, that would be Antony Blinken, was not up to the task of even being Assistant Deputy Secretary of State. He couldn't vote for him during the Obama administration because, I'll let him say it, of what we're looking at now. Watch. Ultimately, the buck stops with Biden. We weren't supposed to be in this situation. Biden promised us he was going to avoid war at all costs, right? He said, that maniac Donald Trump, he'll get you into something with Iran and the Middle East, etc. He was out spouting that narrative as he campaigned. And yet, look at what's going on. It's pretty devastating. It shouldn't be happening. And we should be better than this. We need to demand more of our leaders. Make sure you like, subscribe, all those things. We have a live show every day. We're going to be all over this.